A situation where essentially the administration for years has been pumping sunshine. And now what happens? Late before a holiday weekend, the administration on a blog post essentially whispers, "It's not working." Oops. This is a mess.
It's better for us to delay this and get it right than to rush and get it wrong.
You know and I know that their concern is not that we've delayed the implementation of an aspect of this law, one provision of it. It's that they want to try everything they can to undermine the implementation of this law.
Substance of the constitutionality of the administration saying it's okay, we have the authority to disregard the law as passed by Congress.
It has no such authority. It's clearly lawless. It's undoubtedly unconstitutional. The Constitution is a fairly basic tenet, is that the executive is required to faithfully execute the laws, not to faithfully ignore the parts of the laws it doesn't like, not to faithfully enact a law like the DREAM Act, which Congress rejected, but it enacted by diktat. You do that in Bolivia, you don't do that in the United States. This is a continuation of the lawlessness. You don't announce it in a blog post. You go to Congress and say, we made a mistake, we want to repeal this provision, and you do it legally. But it doesn't even think of doing that, because if it did, then you'd get the GOP saying, well, if we're in the repeal mode, well, let's at least repeal the individual, and perhaps we'll repeal all of it. But the strategy here is to hook Americans on the subsidized health insurance. They've just announced they're going to spend a whole lot of money on that. They have suspended, in addition, the requirements where somebody who gets the subsidized insurance has to prove that he or she is eligible. So that's suspended. It's hook them on the subsidized health insurance today. You know, suspend all the stuff that will bring revenue into the government. And then you're going to have a system where nobody will reject it in the future because they're going to be on heroin.
This bill is focused on only large retailers, and I think that's an important point that is lost. And it's not focused just on Walmart, although interestingly, of all the large retailers who are affected, Walmart is the one that has been outspoken. The others, much less so, or not at all. So it's become a Walmart issue because Walmart has made it a Walmart issue.
This legislation is a development killer. This legislation is a jobs killer, and it's coming true. This, in fact, will destroy those plans, and we have worked long and hard for this measure. If it applied to all retail, which it does not, it would make sense.
Clearly is a bill, written entirely to penalize Walmart because it allows the previous big box stores to go on with their practices. So it's almost like a bill of attainder. It's a bill written against one entity, which is unconstitutional in the first place. This is a greedy, grasping, unbelievably stupid piece of legislation. These stores would be in the poorest parts of D.C. It would give people access to affordable goods and jobs where there's extremely high unemployment, done with extreme goodwill, and this is an attempt to simply sabotage it. Other states and localities offer incentives as a way that they beg employers to come in. Here's an employer who does the due diligence, offers community support, and is essentially being driven out by reactionary liberals on this city council.
Yes or no? Walmart comes into D.C.?
The mayor will probably issue a veto.
Not under the current,
yes.
Not under the current rules, because that would be an example for other jurisdictions.
They've pulled out of Boston and Brooklyn on the same issues, and you could expect them to do that there.
I've lost the whole yes and no battle.
This has been a Sunfish production.